All right, welcome everybody to the Weekly Collective. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's great to see everybody. Thank you for getting up a little bit earlier, some of you, or staying up a little bit later. I appreciate it. I had to adjust it today because there's going to be a little bit of noise in my neighborhood due to celebrations. It's Pride Weekend in LA, so I wanted to make sure that we could enjoy today's reading uninterrupted. And happy Pride Month to everybody that celebrates, and welcome to the collective here. So a quick note, this is for everybody that shows up. There'll be a message for you if you came here today. There's one section in particular, the elemental forecast, where I'll kind of break it down into the signs, but everything else is for all of you, the collective, if you will. Let's take a quick look at Apollo, and then we'll get into channeled messages. He is relaxing in the background. I'll give him a pat on the head and begin. Hey, buddy. Yes, good to see you. Okay, so like I said, I like to start with channeled messages. And channeled messages come from spirit, from dreams, and real life channeling as I'm here too. So as I was getting everything set up and meditating this morning, what I was shown was like a needle in a haystack, literally just this big pile of hay and someone trying to sort through it. And it feels like for many of you, there could be this frustration over why haven't, this could be about love, a job, or just maybe even life purpose. And when you're trying to figure out like, what is it? Where can I find it? It can sometimes distract you from just being present and getting out of the way of overthinking, because I do feel like there's this energy of overcomplication right now. There's a lot of distraction in the world. I try to have this be a safe haven where we can really just focus on ourselves and what's in front of us. And I'm going to try to help you with that today, because it feels like there's too many things. That haystack can represent all the different things that are going through your head, where it's like, where do I make heads or tails of it? One of the things that definitely came through in dreams was like old jobs and old relationships. And I'm not sure if there's this sort of mental rewind that's happening, like could have, should have, would have, or if it's maybe there could be a connection in those old relationships to help you find a job, because I was seeing a little bit of both. When we get into the Celtic Cross a little bit later, I'll keep an eye out for those kind of like old connections and how they might be coming forth today. But I just wanted to acknowledge that it felt like there was a lot of nostalgia that I was picking up on. So today, if you can focus on one thing where you can make an impact, and that's kind of been a theme in the daily readings actually over the last week, I feel like that's going to help you out quite a bit. Okay, let's get started. And focus is the big takeaway here. If you focus like the magician, things can start to kind of like coalesce, and you can start to see a method to the madness. And I feel like it's just about getting out of the thicket today. Okay, good to see you. All right. Yeah, YouTube had some new features today that I'm playing around with. It looks like they're kind of ranking people that participate, which is cool. If I have some time later and there's enough participation, I might look at a couple of viewer questions as well. They need to be high level stuff. We'll talk about that at the end. But right now, let's get into the 7-day forecast. Okay, so 7-day forecast is exactly what it sounds like. I'm going to pull one card for each day of the week and help you navigate at this point in time. And if you ever wondered how this correlates with a daily, this is the snapshot for today. And as you start to make decisions as the week goes along, those fine tune it. And so you can kind of use the combination of the two for like past and present. All right, let's go. So 7 days. Let's first of all clear our minds. If there's anything that you're bringing into this reading, let it go. Just open yourself up to receive insight in the highest form. I always like to imagine that there's a circle of light around my body, and then I invite in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. All right. What's coming through for this very first week of June, and first day as well? Very interesting. I understand the nostalgia now. We have a decent amount of reversals. That's okay. There's a little hesitation. We'll work through it. Let's start off with the first card for today, Sunday. We have Queen of Pentacles, and this, I mean, it's actually kind of interesting. A lot of times we'll get the King or Queen of Pentacles coming through when we do this reading, and I think part of it is because you're in that practical mind. It's almost like we do a little bit of practical magic here when we're looking at all of this. So what this is showing you is that today, if you can get your mind if you can wrap your mind around the idea that I've got this, I can do this, that is really half the battle. So today, allow yourself to explore opportunities, not to focus too much on what isn't working in your life. And again, that energy of focusing comes in loud and clear. This is definitely a day to look at your time and your schedule. And that was something that I talked about when I pulled the daily card. There are opportunities for efficiency, meaning that there might be places where you could spend the time more wisely. There might be areas where you're going to cut your investment of time and energy. And in doing so, you'll have more to give to yourself at the end of the day. You don't want to kind of sacrifice your health, your happiness, or your energy. Make sure that things are, again, reciprocated. It's a great day to start a project. It's a great day to schedule out the week ahead. It's also a good time to get informed about your money and to look at long-term goals. Queen of Pentacles is also connected to the house. So whether you live in an apartment or a home, this is really making sure that your space feels clear and clean. Interestingly enough, when you get the clutter out of even just one room, it allows energy to flow more easily and you can think more easily. Never mind the health benefits of being in a clean and clear space. It's actually good from a sort of energy and magical point of view. So if you feel stuck, clean. It's not always fun, but it's effective. And today's a great day to do that, okay? Really with this, think of it as having a green thumb, and anything that you put your energy into, you'll start to see a return. Monday is a bit of a sluggish day, or it might be a day where you're asked to slow down. Nights usually are about movement, and wands are about thoughts, innovation, and imagination. And so this is saying, slow down a moment and ask yourself, do I agree with this? How do I feel about this? Am I just kind of like jumping from one situation to another without analysis? This is especially true like on the heels of a breakup, quitting a job, or anytime there's a stop in your life, you really want to pause and let it marinate for a second before you jump into the next thing. This helps you avoid making similar errors or repeating lessons that you've already learned. And I don't believe in mistakes. I just sometimes look at things as, how hard do we need to make this? There are times where it's okay. You don't always have to have a lesson. Sometimes it's nice to coast so you can focus your energy on creating and enjoying and exploring rather than constantly learning. We don't want to be in school forever, right? You remember graduation day. It's a good day, whether it's like, graduating from high school or whatever. There's this moment of like freedom. I don't have to do this. Don't overthink. And if there is something that you've been procrastinating on, this is the day to clear your schedule a bit and put the focus on that. So reallocation of time and energy, which is why you're being asked to slow down just a little bit. All right, let's just move these over so they're easier to see. All right, focusing on the energy of Tuesday, walk the walk, talk the talk. The Ace of Swords is a card of action, and like I just said, there might be some procrastination. So this is a day to really say, all right, I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm going to take a step, and if you don't do it Monday could be your planning day. Tuesday is the day to really initiate. Say no if you need to, revise and edit if you need to, and less is more. The more you say, the more you write, the more you put out there, the harder it is if there's an error to retract that. In today's sort of electronic world, imagine that everything that's said has like a permanent record. So really, you want to think about it before you put it out there. Otherwise, this is just a chance to kind of like, I like to view this as a pen or a pencil. And so sketch it out, draft it out, find a way to kind of create a rough draft today. And from that rough draft, something beautiful could come through. It's a good day for journaling, writing, and talking things out with a friend or something, okay? We have an interesting card at the middle of the week, Judgment in reverse. With this card, there's almost this internal understanding that you know what you want, but there's perhaps, we're talking about overthinking, it's coming back again, denying a desire or denying an instinct. We don't want that. Judgment is really coming through so you can bounce back, rise up. Like I said, you don't have to repeat a mistake. Normally, and we can see it here, these are usually souls rising up from the dead. So if you had a false start, if you had a setback, if you quote unquote experience some sort of a failure in your life, this is a day where you can transmute that, move beyond it, and it's really encouraging you to reinvent. We're not rinsing and repeating on Wednesday, we're trying something different. You don't have to agree with everybody's decision. Judgment can be taken at face value. The only one that gets to judge someone is that person. They can judge themselves. And honestly, when we go into life review, which is a process that happens when the soul transitions from the physical world into the spiritual world, it's usually you looking at your life with a couple of guides. So it's not like God or the universe judges you. You're grading yourself always. So don't be so hard on yourself and don't be hard on other people. It's their path, it's their journey. You focus on you. And when somebody makes a decision and didn't ask you or doesn't really want your input, so be it. Instead, focus on what you're going to do. Stress, this is really about stress too. You can choose to react or not react to something. But generally speaking, this is a chance for a breakthrough. Look at the Eye of Providence or the Eye of Ra at the top. If you can see through the situation in front of you and see the blessing or see the opportunity, that's when magic happens. So this is a pivotal turning point and something big could happen. And it's just a matter of, are you looking at it from the bigger point of view, which is why the eye is at the top. Okay? This is a repeat of what we saw today. So when something repeats, it means we still need to focus on it. All right, on Thursday, we have an upright Four of Pentacles. There could be someone that is trying to get more from you than they should, and they're not compensating you properly. Someone that is frugal is too nice of a word. It's kind of like they're cheap. And in this situation, you really want to advocate for your worth and make sure that you're not getting less than that. There could be something that's out of reach, where from a budget or time perspective, it's going to cost more than it's worth. So you want to, in that case, be conservative and frugal with your own time and energy. And then if you look at today's daily, we talked about the more emotional part of this, which is, are you, and I think we're looking at you now, are you overprotecting yourself? We build these walls around ourselves for protection, but if we build them too high, it's hard for people to access or to connect with us, access our heart or whatever. And so being a little bit vulnerable, putting yourself out there, saying what you want, it's an important step in personal development. What you can do over the course of the week is build, and we have a great topic today, boosting your self-worth, your self-confidence. So I feel like because we chose the special topic, this won't happen. We can get it to the 5 or the 6 of Pentacles, which is getting closer to what you want. Don't hold back. Don't hold on to something. This is a day for letting go. The day before was trying to get you there, but I do feel like this is self-protection coming through. Don't underestimate your worth. Don't give away your time and energy. Don't hold on to something longer than you should. Instead, open yourself up to experience what the universe wants to bring through. Just taking a deep breath and really opening the heart chakra and kind of pushing out the chest is good. So if you're doing yoga or Pilates, working on opening up the heart, the shoulders, the stomach area, kind of these areas of activation can also help with that, because Four of Pentacles is kind of bringing it all within. So we want to do that. Even as I went to bed last night, I kind of just made sure that I stretched and I could feel like the sternum open up a little bit and crack. And I was like, that felt good. Sometimes we don't realize how much we're holding on to. Okay? Breathe. Remember to breathe. All right. So that was Thursday. We have star energy coming through at the end of the week. All of this recalibration is really, really worth it. So we're looking at the energy of Friday here. Star in reverse. So don't mute your light. In other words, be authentic. Everything about the Four of Pentacles is why this card is reversed. So don't hold back. Don't worry so much. You know, this is like today, the Pride Parade that's happening in Los Angeles. is exactly what that's about. Be your authentic self. But you don't need a holiday, a parade, or anything like that. This is about saying, I'm not afraid what people think. This is what I need. This is what I want. This is who I am. It's exhausting to try to constantly people please. And so in this particular day of the week, it's important to just go for it. And invariably, when star power comes through like this, you're going to be all right. Now, look at this particular illustration. It's almost like she's looking at things from every angle, from the sides, from above, and it's kind of like this multitasking, multi-dimensional approach. So the big picture that we saw midweek, the reason that Eye of Providence is coming through is if you can see it from that perspective, you'll start to open up doors and windows that you didn't even imagine existed. So reach high, set your goals high, and allow yourself to authentically be who you are. And where there's a will, there's a way. And that's really what the star is saying. It may not be the path that you thought or envisioned or intended, but something bigger, something different, something better could come through. But it all starts with that sense that you believe in yourself, okay? And you have to believe in you. Otherwise, nobody else is going to do it for you, okay? And so you have 3 of the most powerful cards that you can get coming through. Rebirth, this sort of acceleration and expansion energy that is second only to like the world energy, the very last card. And now we have death coming through. And I know that I just talked about this maybe in the last reading that I did, but here we go again. Or it felt like it was in a daily reading over the last week. So death in reverse. By the way, we're looking at Saturday. We could sum this up as breaking through stagnation, or if it was a question, it would be, if not now, comma, then when, question mark. In other words, what are you waiting for? This is a day to come out of the chrysalis, spread your wings, and go for it. So I don't know what the procrastination's about. It'll come through when we do the main reading, but you don't need to worry anymore, it feels like. Also, there's a theme. This is about something already starting to unravel or happen. This is holding on to the past after the past is done. And this is the universe just saying, we don't want the tower. We don't need the tower. We got the star here this week. The star usually comes after the tower. So let's not invite it into this reading or into this week. Embrace change. Yeah, it was the last thing I just did. I published Taurus yesterday. So Taurus, you're also coming through strong in this reading. Embrace the necessary change. If you do it, you become powerful because you're an agent of change rather than beholden to it, which is the tower. Change will happen no matter what. Are you on board, or are you going to have to play catch up later? You're on board because you're here. Don't worry. I'm just giving you a little tough love on that one. This is transformation and movement. So the stagnation piece, when it's reversed, is don't delay, okay? It's also a reminder that when one door closes, another opens. And what the Four of Pentacles is doing is holding on. So I mentioned in the daily, it's the devil you know. It's the devil you know because it can't give you what you need. It's there in the card. It's too low and the person isn't happy in the suit. So Four of Pentacles is saying someone or something isn't providing. Why am I holding on? The predictability of it, the devil you know, isn't enough. The comfort of it isn't enough because it doesn't sustain. So everybody this week, there's something that you can release and something better awaits. And the death card is coming through saying, I'm ready when you're ready. Don't be afraid of change. Don't fear the reaper, like that song that got parodied. It's a good song in and of itself. Okay, moving onward. Let's go to, from Saturday to Sunday, we have the Eight of Pentacles coming through. This is good. It's in reverse, but this is basically saying, okay, I'm going to finish what I've started. I'm going to really apply my skills because this is a skills application card. It doesn't always mean having to go to school or being an apprentice. It could mean that you're taking something that you know or have learned and you're finally applying it. It also means that many of you have learned a lesson, and that's why we don't need the Tower. All we need to do is to either take action or embrace change, or a combination of the two. If you do want to take a class, this is perfect. Usually this does not have to be as in-depth as the Three of Pentacles. It could be an online session. It could be a day-long seminar. It could be self-taught. This is a great time to expand your skills. Again, for the writers that might be in the room today, this is about editing, and it's showing that you're very close to a final draft, which is cool, or getting through a block, because we had Judgment and the Death card. Don't overthink this week. Let's look at highlights and challenges for this particular week. I think that today is a highlight. The Queen of Pentacles is fantastic. The star energy towards the end of the week is also a guiding light. Two of the most powerful days, but they could also be the most challenging days, are Wednesday and Saturday. Wednesday, something surprises you. It's not as you thought it would be, but it could be opening the door even sooner than what we see here on Saturday. Saturday, it's time. If you've been holding back or questioning yourself, it's time to let it go. And the rest of the week is pretty manageable, and I covered it at pretty deep levels here. It's a great week ahead. This is change, movement, and expansion. Even though it's a feared card, it needn't be, especially in the spread that we see here. We didn't get the Devil, and we didn't get the Tower. We could get the Tower if you hold back, but you're not going to, because you showed up, and that's why we do these readings. Okay, and as we do the dailies, I'll keep you honest, and if it comes through, I'll say, go back and listen to my weekly. We talked about this. We don't need this, all right? I'll give you a little nudge if I have to. Okay, so we're going to move onward now to the elemental portion of today's reading. This is the only part that's going to be specific to any signs. Welcome, everybody. If you just joined, perfect timing. We still haven't done the special topic. Everything's always available on replay later, so never worry if you come late. And I know that I changed times today, so I know there's going to be someone saying, I didn't see the time. Don't worry about it. You'll still have this later. I did put notices. By the way, quick reminder. Follow me on social media, and you'll get reminders about any sort of time changes, etc. And subscribe to the channel so that you know when I post something. And sometimes it doesn't come through. Don't worry about it. Like I said, it's always here for you when you need it. Okay, back to what we were talking about. So we're going to take a look here at the elements. And I picked a deck, so let's start. Really? Okay. Here, I feel like we got a volunteer here for these. There's actually 4. That's crazy. Okay, 4 cards flew out of the deck. So I didn't have to shuffle or anything. There you go. I normally don't read them, but because there's 4 signs and 4 cards flew out, Spirit is active today. Let's start off with the fire signs. Good for you. You got the Lovers. So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. If you're ready and you're willing, it looks like connections are opening up. You can imagine that this indicates both you and like the environment. It's like in the Celtic Cross, we're looking at the center card and the environment card. So this is super magnetic. We can see that these birds are actually flying. So one of the ways that you could meet this energy of the Lovers is by getting out into the world. Activities, school, projects, sort of spiritual engagements, whatever it is where there's other people. This is a good time to mix and mingle. In existing relationships, the connection could go even deeper. If you're looking for someone, great time to get out there. If you're trying to manifest an opportunity like a job, or if you're trying to sell a product or service, the Lovers is also very beneficial. It's just a matter of working on our special topic today, which is basically self-worth and net worth. Do what you love too. This sometimes gets overlooked with the Lovers because like energy attracts like energy. And when you're in the frequency of love, when you're laughing, when you're engaged, it attracts higher energy people and opportunities. Okay? It's a great week ahead. Have some fun and mix and mingle. Not much to say other than really focus on using that magnetic energy. It's not just about finding love, but it's about doing what you love, connecting with people that you love, and all of that starts to open up new doors. Let's move on from fire to earth. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. There's a little bit of, it's about refocusing what's going on. I think this has to do with judgment. So Judgment is a chance to rise up and reinvent, but it also means that something's come to a close. So we have the Eight of Cups here. It's a very unusual Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups can be basically making and breaking cycles. This is breaking a cycle because you can see all the broken cups. I'm going to pull the traditional one just for comparison. With respect to breaking cycles, and then I'll go into other interpretations. This is basically just saying, I've had enough. Enough is enough. And because you've got Judgment and the Death card, I think it's a great week to let something go. This could be for some of you a vice, like smoking or drinking, or it could be a relationship that kind of is toxic or not the best for you. So give yourself a chance to just say, you know what, there's something better than this. I'm ready for that. For the rest of you, this is an encouragement to get some perspective and to get some distance from something. So in the traditional card, which hopefully I'll find here in a second, the person is walking away from a person, place, or thing so that they understand, like, who am I? Where do I stand? What is this all about? When was the last time you had a vacation? If you've been constantly working nonstop and you're feeling like, okay, I just don't know where I end and something else begins, this is why this card is so important. So definitely two wildly different views of it. So we have the mountains and we have the cups, but this one is showing you how you can get out of this. If you're just feeling like things are heavy, that you can't focus, because this is really focusing on the heavy emotions of the Eight of Cups. Whereas this one is saying, if I just take a break, I'll have perspective. I can always come back, and then and only then should you make a decision. Because sometimes you're too emotional, things are too heated, and this is really encouraging you to get to a place where it's neutral. So you might have achieved diminishing returns and you have to take a break. And that's going to help you get to this point of being able to see things from a different perspective. And I have to kind of edit stuff because YouTube doesn't like showing body parts. But yeah, the Judgment card is saying, okay, if I just let go and allow myself to rise up, things could get better. Okay? Let me see if there's anything else here. I think that's pretty much it. Getting out into nature can also be advantageous, so this is a great time to do that. Okay. Making a cycle is something you can do too. So if you want to set something into motion, now is the time. We saw a couple of days that would be good, like the Ace of Swords for Tuesday. That's a great day. Or even today, since we got the Queen of Pentacles. Good action times for both. Let's move on from Earth to Air, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. A similar message in a different font with respect to taking a break. So normally this shows a person in a sepulcher, which is like a coffin, which is putting something to rest, but also resting. This one, instead of showing 3 swords above, 1 sword below, what they just showed was that 1 sword in the third eye, basically, insight. The ability to rest and get clarity. So I require a minimum of 6 hours. I can operate on 4, but I'm not happy. I love to get 8 hours if I can. And then once I get beyond 10, I'm groggy. So you've got to figure out what's good for your body, unless I've been working really hard, and then it's great. But I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. If you get too much or too little, it feels like this energetic hangover. And so make sure that you're resetting your circadian rhythm. You're getting enough, but not too much rest. And then this also has to be to do with your schedule. So when this card is reversed, you have too much on your plate. And you're overextended, and something has to give with respect to how much you're putting, in front of yourself. So delegate, say no, make sure you're sleeping, make sure you're meditating, and also if there's something that you're hanging on to, this week when you let it go, it feels like you can finally let it go. 6 of Swords, 4 of Swords, and the Death card all represent peace in different forms. The 4 of Swords is the most peaceful and the most gentle, and it just shows that something's starting to fade in your life if you push your energy in a new direction, okay? Get some rest. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, don't overthink. As a fellow air sign, I understand. Trust your insights, but you only get those insights when you allow yourself time to clear your mind. If you need to talk and detox and kind of like decompress, do that. The minute you just take a deep breath, because I was talking about that with the 4 of Pentacles, it feels like, all right, it's going to be all right. What am I thinking about? Why am I getting myself into that space? That's your big challenge this week is overthinking. Your biggest strength is the ability to see things from a higher perspective because you are air, but sometimes the clouds step in. Let's let the clouds go, okay? And with the lamb thing, are you leading or are you following this week? You have to be willing at some point to just sort of like take the lead, because the lamb is very passive and it's waiting. So you have the capacity to take this to the next level, to go to like the strength card, if you will. Lions and lambs. All right, let's move forward now to water signs. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Focus. So 5 of Wands, a very interesting 5 of Wands. It feels like there could have been multiple people that have just dropped the ball, or in this case, dropped the stick, and there's a mess to clean up. Because that's what this looks like to me, a mess. And it's disparate energy. A bunch of people that are doing things that aren't connected. So what's the common goal or common dream in a group? Leadership is what's coming through here. The next one is leadership and success, 6 of Wands. So it feels like there's either bad leadership, there's a lack of direction, people are competing unnecessarily. There could also just be a lack of motivation. A lot of times this reminds me of a hamster wheel where it's like, I'm working and I'm working and I'm working, but why? So if you are busy and bored, big wake-up call there. There might be a better path or a better investment of your time and energy. Don't be afraid to step into a leadership position and encourage, again, a common goal, interest, or focal point, and then that brings things in a better place, okay? So this feels like it's either your own work ethic or might even be connected with, you know, a place that you're working, but there's motivation and clarity that's lost. So you figure out what you need to do and take that step, and people are either going to follow or you're going to move into a new direction. A lot of times the 6 of Wands, which is the next in the suit, is just an innovating and a sort of leadership card where it's leading the charge, but not everyone is there at the very, very beginning, okay? Okay, that was cool because Spirit just threw the cards on the table and I didn't have to shuffle. So thank you for that. We're going to move straight into the special topic. So welcome everybody. It's a new month. So at this point, I think I have an extra tab open up. I'm going to gift a few memberships. I have no control over this, by the way. It just goes out randomly. So you can, when this happens, if you're not already opted in, it'll say make sure that you opt in so that you can get a membership in the future, and that's all you have to do. I know that Dakota and I get inundated sometimes and like, how do I get my membership? You can always join. These are just kind of like a perk, but if you'd like to make sure that you can get a free one, opt in. Okay, back to what we're doing, which again is the special topic. Let me select a deck for this and we'll get started. Okay, welcome everyone, especially if you just joined, good to see you. We're closer to regular time. If you joined late, don't worry, this will be available on replay. If you just joined, close your eyes, create a circle of light around your body, welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. Let's call in whatever messages need to be here, but we're specifically focusing on how to boost self-worth, how you feel about yourself, and net worth, opportunities, money, resources that come through. Because of that, there'll be less of a focus today on wealth, and I may just hold back on, we'll see. I might pull the cards, but I'm not gonna go as deep. I might just look at the main sort of message and then leave a little bit of room at the end in case we have time for a question or two that would benefit everyone, okay? So I'll still do the expanded, but I might not go as deep today, because I like to change things up occasionally. All right, let's begin. And thank you so much to all of you that are present. I just saw that Bernadette was really kind there. I appreciate that. All right, let's begin. pros. All right. Here we go. Let's get started with your catalyst, and I'll pull the Celtic Cross later. Okay, catalyst card. We have nature coming through. So a couple of notes. This is very nicely connected to the Eight of Cups. Remember I said that a change of environment can help. Getting out in the environment can help. I know that one thing that I like to do with Apollo, he's in the other room, but once in a blue moon, I like to just drive to a different neighborhood in LA where there's more trees and he can kind of just walk and, you know, chase the birds or whatever he wants to do. But it also helps me. And I love hiking and doing different things in nature, because when you get out of an office, your house, a work environment, and you connect with nature, it just allows, again, for those of you that feel like the heart chakra is closed down or that you're having a difficult time breaking through, nature has a way of getting the stress out of your body. And if you do have a backyard, or if you can find a place where you can kick your feet off, or kick your feet off, please don't. Kick your shoes off for a second and put your feet on the ground. That energy of grounding is very, very effective. If you can't, finding a tree and just leaning against it so people aren't like, why is this person hugging a tree or putting their hands on a tree? You can be kind of coy about it. But if you just lean against a tree, take a deep breath, and let go of the stress of the day, it's a great way to send that into the planet. Please give gratitude to the tree and to the earth, and know that they can receive it and can kind of they can dissipate it. But you can almost ask permission first. Just say, if you don't mind, I just need to let go of this. Thank you so much. And then it's a great way for nature to just take the energy. So that's a quick hack if you need to let something go. Also, I had a great Reiki teacher once. Before talking to me, she said, your energy is all over the place. Just grab a rock on the ground and hold it for a second. Breathe into it. Put whatever you have, energetically into that, and then just put that back on the ground. You do not need to go pay $200 for an amethyst crystal. You can go pick up a pebble anywhere, and it's all grounding energy. It's just a piece of the planet. And feel that you are safe, feel that you are connected, allow whatever it is that you're holding on to be transferred into that rock. And then if you can put it into the water or something else, that's even another way that you can dissipate. So nature is a natural curing agent. Being able to take a swim in a pool or in the ocean or wherever, also great. The ocean's great because it's salt water, and salt helps kind of pull that energy away as well, and you're naturally kind of clearing it. So nature is the cheapest, easiest, and most powerful hack that you can kind of connect with when it comes to stress. Get outside, take a deep breath, and engage, okay? So many different things that you can do. What's the trend as we're looking at this week? And then I'll kind of, as we go through it, look at it from the lens of self-worth and net worth. Well, you're actually taking good steps in the right direction. We like that. I like that we're moving towards abundance. Six of Pentacles is about balance and choices. And we also have the Wheel of Fortune, which is good. That's the whole purpose of today's reading. Some of the challenges are not seeing a blessing, putting energy into a person or an argument that isn't really worth it. And so I'm going to try to help you past it. I love that we don't have super challenging cards here. We don't have the Devil. We don't have the Tower. We don't have the Ten of Swords. It's a manageable week, okay? Okay, so let's go to the Three of Wands. And yeah, let's normalize hugging a tree. It's a good thing. But if there's any judgment, you don't have to do that. You can just sit down cross-legged on the ground. You can lean against a tree. You can take a swim. You can go to the beach and just put your feet into the water, into the sand. I'll do that because I don't always want to go all the way in the beach. The water's not what it used to be. But you can put your bare feet on the sand and let the water go over them. That's a great way to do it. There's so many different connections. Gardening is also good. Okay, back on point. Three of Wands at the center. I love this Three of Wands because she's taking action. Typical Three of Wands is passive. There's a guy on a hill, he's looking at ships coming in, and he's waiting for it to come to him. She's saying, hey, here's the Three Wands right here. I'm going to take the steps to make it happen. I'm going to meet it halfway. That's really proactive. That's also letting the universe know that you're engaged, you're ready, and you're committed, and it'll happen faster. So keep taking the steps, stay focused, and also keep looking in different directions. With the typical Three of Wands, I always mention, if you're looking down at your phone, if you're looking back at the past, you're missing what's coming towards you. So always remember to look up, to look around, mostly to look forward. The review, the sort of figurative looking back is to make sure that you've learned the lessons, but we can't live in nostalgia, okay? So keep taking those steps. Things will happen faster than you think. There's an imminent or immediate energy with the Three of Wands. It's usually happening now. And that's why this week it's important to get through the stagnation that we saw with the Death card in reverse. It's happening. That's what this is. That's the caption for you. It's happening. Let's take some steps this week. Let's keep moving forward, okay? All right, crossing this. What's your focus? With the Seven of Cups, there may be too many things that you're putting your energy into. So nowadays, people multitask even when they're trying to decompress. So people will be watching a Netflix movie on a television, answering an email on their mobile device or iPad, and then maybe taking a call on their phone. Like, that's a lot. So that's a Seven of Cups moment that they couldn't imagine because this is from the past. You are pulling your energy and your attention in so many directions that it's not effective. So limit your scope, limit your focus so that you're not overwhelmed, you're not overstimulated, and that you can start to really make the impact that the Three of Wands wants you to bring in. This could be something that steps in the way of the Three of Wands. Distraction. If you need to, turn off your Wi-Fi on your laptop while you're trying to type up a paper or an email. If you need to get yourself out of a difficult place to study. Over the course of when I was in my undergraduate, I had interesting roommate experiences. And invariably, I would have to leave my dorm so that I could study. Either go to the library if I needed to really focus, or a student union if I needed just enough place for, like, you know, sometimes white noise is good. But I couldn't study in the dorm because there was wacky stuff going on. Kids were acting crazy. So I was like, I need to study for this test, and they're, you know, blasting Pearl Jam or something down the hall. So if you need to find a way to get that distraction out of your head, do it. But if it's self-inflicted, then find also a way to make sure that you're not putting yourself in too many different directions. All right, let's look at the karma here. This is your self-worth, net worth card. What is it today that's either pulling you forward or taking you a step back? It's a little harder to see in this. I'll show this first because I actually really like the illustration, and then I'll see if I can quickly find the Ten of Wands. But the Ten of Wands is a self-inflicted burden, taking on too much. This is showing the flip side. So let's look at the flip side first. This is growing out of something in the past that might have been challenging, that might have been unexpected, but is ultimately really, really good. So in this moment in time, if you give yourself a chance to sort of like go for it, you could, and not worry so much about things, just say, what can I learn from this experience? How can I level up? The Ten of Wands is allowing you to grow from that. So we see a past misstep or mistake actually benefiting you and making you stronger. And it's also showing that you're closer to the finish line than you might imagine. So never think I've failed. Always ask, what can I learn from this? How can I leverage it? And that's what that Ten of Wands was doing, instead of making it a Ten of Swords moment. The traditional Ten of Wands, which I'm going to pull up now, is completion, but not seeing it, or feeling like this is so much. And if you feel like you're doing too much or you're doing too much, then it's a chance to delegate. If you're in a position to delegate, this can be a perfectionist that's trying to do everything for everyone all the time. There comes a point when it's too much. So knowing enough is enough. It feels like this lesson wants to be put to bed because it's in the deep past. And we saw the skull there. So the important thing right now is not to put too much pressure on yourself, not to try to be perfect, not to try to please everybody else. and to take a break and see how far you've come, because perspective is missing from this particular illustration. So this is a great moment in time to get some perspective, to let go, and in doing so, that's going to allow you to grow. Okay? And also just push back if other people are, again, putting the pressure on you. All right. King of Cups in the recent past. Flexibility. So one of the challenges right now is it's not what I wanted, even though that's a very unusual read for this. I'm looking at a water serpent here, which has to kind of like go in and out of things. And it feels like it's been a journey. This week might have been a journey. This year might have been a journey. The past decade for some of you. And you're like, Nicholas, when is it going to get better? So each and every day, we need to look at it less on this sort of exhausting arc and more like one step, one breath, one day at a time. Because when you allow it to not be so big and just be a moment, a decision, a step, it becomes easier. One step, one day at a time. Thinking back to college, I remember there was one friend, not really a friend, more of an acquaintance, but every time I talked to them, we had like 3 or 4 classes together. There was never a day where there wasn't a complaint. Every day it was like, oh my God, guess what happened on the commute? Oh my God, guess what this teacher did? Oh my gosh, my electricity was, every day was an oh my goodness moment. And it was exhausting. It was exhausting to be around this person because they only fixated on, I was like, there can't be that much wrong. I mean, I have things every day that aren't going as expected, but I don't feel like it's a cloud over me. So focus on what is working. Try to look at the silver lining. Try to go beyond that, because it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So be flexible, allow things to be lighter. And if you are connected to things that are creating that heaviness, it's time to let them go, because Wands is the one suit in tarot where you can go down and actually go up. 6 of Wands is success, and it requires doing less and looking at things from a higher perspective. 3 of Wands, taking several steps back so you can see what's coming in. 2 of Wands, imagining, figuring out what you want to do. Ace of Wands, taking one of those things and going forward with it. You can move backwards in this suit and move ahead. Less is more. Same thing with your emotions. Less is more. Try not to focus on all of that. You might need help or coaching with that, but I'm just giving you the big picture on that, okay? Yeah, someone's laughing in the Tower Moments Daily. Every day can't be a tower. That's a perspective issue, but that's a whole other reading, and we're not going to read that person today. I hope they're well. King of Cups. Put your energy where you feel your passion. So for the very last reading that I did, Taurus, there was this beautiful Ace of Cups card. I don't know if I have it nearby, but I can find it here because I just read. But there was an eye on the Ace of Cups. Here it is. So if you follow your passion, everything starts to come into focus. And in this card, this is really the ultimate in that suit. It's saying, let's do something that is exciting. Let's do something that is kind of like firing me up on all octaves. This is the time to prioritize happiness, and you're worth it. So this is the self-worth piece that's coming in. You don't have to suffer to be happy. You don't have to suffer to please. You don't have to carry the weight of the world to be good. You can let some of that go. Focus instead on what we see here, doing less, focusing more on what the future holds, pulling out some of the distractions, and knowing that you're worth it. It's okay. Don't overthink. Coming into focus, but not yet completely appearing, is 4 of Wands. It's in the crowning position. It represents partnership. It represents camaraderie, promises that are kept, someone that has your back. It is the kind of foundation in your life that you're looking for. It wants to come in, but there is friction, mental friction. The Judgment card that I saw around the middle of the week, that's this, because it was reversed. It's like there's ellipses before it even appeared, like ... but do I deserve it? Am I ready? What if this happens? ... Let's get that out of the picture. Simply put, the universe wants to bring in something better, and it wants you to have this connection that you deserve. You deserve to be happy, and you deserve to be loved. Two universal truths that have come through: happiness and love, and joy and love. The sort of creative love energy is already here. You just need to lean into it. And when you do it, other people follow suit, and that's where the magnetic energy starts to happen, okay? How can you make it happen? Some of you are saying, Nicholas, I have so many things on my plate. We talked about delegation. This is the key to success. You have to be able to say no. Six of Pentacles is cool there, but it's not telling the story. So I'm going to pull the traditional card while we're talking. There's often many outstretched hands with the Six of Pentacles, which means that in order to not exhaust yourself, you're going to have to pick and choose, and part of that entails saying no. I wish I could, maybe next week, or I can't help you, you should talk to this person. You can say no in a way that is kind, but it's important to have limits and boundaries, and this person isn't extinguishing or exhausting their resources. They have a little bit more, and they can use that little bit more to go forward on a goal, to help a friend or a loved one, or to give back to the world, but they're not giving to the point of exhaustion. This is also one of 3 cards that shows a need to find balance. And so you might be looking at creating better balance in your personal life, creating better balance in your sort of passions and activities. Choices. A single word to sum this up is choices. Good choices create good outcomes. Poor choices bring you back towards that Four of Pentacles energy that we saw coming through in the weekly read, okay? So say no, make good choices, don't overextend yourself. This will help you have more, but it all stems in believing and choosing wisely. Let me take another drink, and then we're going to look at how you're showing up. I'm actually quite heartened by this because it's the next card in the suit. So we have the Seven of Pentacles. Things are starting to move in a good direction. In the traditional card, which was not too far away, I saw it here, there is basically growth, but this feeling of frustration. It's like, Nicholas, why is it taking so long? I want to be there now. And I get it. We all have those moments where we're kind of like a toddler and we just need it, want it, etc. But recovery and growth take some time. So don't force it before it's ready. It's like a cake in the oven. If it's not cooked, it's not worth it. So if you zoom in, that dude is not happy. He's like, oh, still, I'm waiting. But look at the growth. Look at the recovery. Look at how much more abundance is in that card versus this. Like literally all that stuff grew overnight, it almost feels like. It's hard work. It's hard work to sometimes get things to move in the right direction. Invariably, it's worth the hard work. So don't give up. A little bit of detachment is amazing with the Seven of Pentacles. So do what you can, and then just for a few moments, put your attention somewhere else. And then before you know it, opportunity is knocking. When you fix your goal, when you fix your vision on one thing, it's like watching water boil. It feels like it takes longer. But if you just step out of the room to grab something, it's boiling over and you're like, oh my God. So that's the magic, is just to kind of like, for a moment, knowing that you're not going to let the water boil over, you're like, oh, just look at this. And then all of a sudden it's happening, okay? Don't put too much pressure on something to happen. That's the main message there. Last thing with this is this often comes through on the heels of debt or overextension, and so you need to know what your limits are and not overextend yourself. Even though you might be making great progress, a little bit of conservative approach, particularly when it comes to your money, is advantageous. It's not putting yourself in the mind think of like scarcity. It's just saying, we're not going to do that again. I don't need this. I want it, but I don't need it. And then when you say that, invariably, it probably goes on sale. The law of detachment can work that way. You can manifest a sale or something like that. Or find another way for something to come to you. So tell the universe, I want it, but I don't need it, or I don't need it that badly. So I'm going to focus on something else and wait for a sale or opportunity to come my way. This is something that could be chipping away at your self-worth, okay? And this is someone in your life that, what's the best way that I can put this? They're not a good listener, perhaps, and sometimes it's even a little bit of gaslighting or pushing your buttons. So in this particular deck, it's almost like they're sitting there, it's my way or the highway, and we can see the end result here. It's not that big a deal. This is just one POV. Don't give someone more power than they deserve. Typically with the Five of Swords, there's a person in your life that lacks the ability to take their own accountability. They may not have good listening skills, and they may just enjoy getting a rise out of you. From your own perspective, the Five of Swords is a saboteur, the inner saboteur, which comes through and it says to you, you're not this enough, you're not that enough to make it happen. And I'm here to tell you that that's just a voice of fear or anxiety. And it may be more of a program that was given to you by society, by an institution like school, or maybe even your family. It's not you. So it sits on your shoulder and it says things that aren't nice, and then you feel sort of bad about it. Let's just turn it off. And one of the ways you're like, Nicholas, how do you do that? Well, first of all, you can talk to a therapist, but I can give you an energy approach to do it too, which is to make it a question. I can't do it. Why can't I do it? How can I do it? The why can't I do it is more of a rhetorical question, because you know you can. It's more like, why not? That kind of why not. Like, not why, but more like, I can do this. How am I going to do this? Get curious about it and then do it. I'm going to do this. But it has to start in some way, shape, or form. You're asking yourself, why is this a big deal? It shouldn't be a big deal. What can I do to make this not a big deal? And then again, there's a point at which you might need some advice, and that's when you talk to a therapist or a coach or a friend to get that extra perspective. But it's just a voice. That's what I'm getting. It's a program, kind of like we would see in the Matrix. But this program needs to be sent back to the source. It isn't serving you. It's noise. It's kind of like when you have 67 browser tabs open and you're trying to look at one more and the whole thing crashes. Let's just close those tabs and focus again on one thing, okay? All right, let's take a look now at hopes, fears, and opportunities. A blessing in disguise. It's reversed. Four of Cups in its upright form is hard to see. So right behind this person, there's a little bird and a cup. In front of them, they're focusing on these. You know, the expression in this one isn't necessarily, I keep pulling the two, but because Rider-Waite-Smith often shows it better. I love these illustrations, but I'm like, no, we need to show them the real one in this case, because it's too far away from Rider-Smith. You'll know what I'm talking about here. Look at that guy's expression. He's focusing on this, and Spirit's saying, ahem, look to your right, look to your left, there's something better. But he's frustrated. It's an outgrowth of the previous card. It's not happening is what the voice is saying. And the universe is like, yeah, it is. Look over here. You're focusing on the wrong thing. You're listening to the wrong thing. I'd like you to look around. I'd like you to change your company. I'd like you to change your point of view. When I say change your company, the company that you keep, the people that are around you, a different group, a different environment. Remember, we got the nature card earlier, can change your perspective. And then if we take the Three Cups and we take this sort of surly expression out, I can't do it all because I just have one hand, but it's basically just an ace at the end of the day. But this person's not seeing the ace. So that's what this card presents, but they're focusing on something else. In this one, maybe they think this is good enough because it's a somewhat happy expression, but the universe is like, it could be better. All right. This can also be like the grass is always greener. So a flip side, and I don't always look at it from this perspective, is expressing gratitude for what you have. Like, I'm so grateful that I'm able to do this, that I've been able to get through this, etc., etc. And when you get into the energy of gratitude, the universe provides you something else. It's like, oh, okay, you actually are ready for an upgrade. You still have to be ready for that, but gratitude can help change your attitude, and attitude can help bring in an opportunity, okay? Gratitude and attitude. All right, the outcome is what we're seeking today, so I'm not surprised that we see the Wheel of Fortune, but the card is in the reverse position, and then we have, it almost reminds me of the trickster god, Inktomi or whatever, but this is interesting. So I'm going to go with this. Success can be a web. Sometimes it's like painting yourself into a corner of a room and not knowing how to get out because it's all wet paint. It's a metaphor for like not giving yourself enough room to breathe. But the spider has the ability to cut the web and spin a new one. It's not about repeating success. It's not about being perfect. It's not about feeling stuck. It's about saying, I did this. I totally can do that. Every day is a reset for a spider. It cleans out parts of the web that don't work. And if there's a storm and it needs to rebuild it, it rebuilds it. It doesn't complain because that's how it's going to manifest its next meal. So don't worry so much about the deconstruction, reconstruction, whatever. Just know that each day you have the capacity to create. And the universe can present opportunities that are going to make it bigger or easier, etc. All right. Now just looking at the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This to me is like being at the helm of a ship and cranking that sort of wheel around, the figurative Wheel of Fortune there. The bigger the ship, the longer it takes to move direction. The shorter the vehicle, the easier it is to change course. If you've been on a path for like 10 years and you're going to make a pivot, give yourself some time. It might take a few months or even a year itself. If you've only just begun, it's a lot easier to jump from this to this, okay? So be patient with yourself and know that good things take time to build. Larger ships or larger paths take time to pivot, and you want to be mindful of that, and that's going to help you not feel frustrated. Every day you plant a seed, every day you just crank it a little bit, and slowly it turns, and before you know it, you're headed in a new direction. Some of you are just ready for change. This is the time to start to research. How can I do it? When is it possible? How much do I need to make it happen? You're getting informed. And that informed approach is going to help you make good choices. Now, we've got a good feeling for a couple of things here. You are worthy. So you need to hear that because that's the topic here is self-worth. The blocks to self-worth so far are potentially feeling like you have to carry the weight of the world, which we talked about with this 10 of Wands. Maybe not making the best choices, which we saw here with the Six of Pentacles. The Five of Swords, letting someone step in and take up too much of your time or energy, and then maybe not allowing yourself to see what's coming through. It's all there, but the focus, it's really about focus right now. I don't feel like I have to work too much on building you up. It's just about allowing you to see things in a different direction. And it can happen now. It can happen faster. So let's expand this quickly. I'm not going to, I think for this I might just do, depends. I could ask you. We could do a little vote. But I'm going to do the expanded forecast. And I'm going to ask maybe in a poll how expanded you want me to do it. So I haven't done that in a minute. So let me do a poll, Q&A, or start a poll. Short, expanded, or long? How in depth? Short, expanded, and extra Q&A. Long, expanded. So you guys decide. I'm going to pull the cards and you tell me how in depth you want me to go. And what I mean by short, expanded is I'll just briefly touch on this for the general rather than breaking it down into 5 or 3 or however many categories. Then we can look at some other things that you might be dealing with. I could go into chat a little bit and see what's going on with respect to like blocks this week. And we'll go from there. We didn't hit enough to do like individual Q&A, so we'll kind of do like general, but let's see what's coming through for those general questions if you want it. All right. So let's just pull the expanded and see What is coming forth? All right. By the way, it was such a close call today for topics. It was almost a tiebreaker for the members. I was hoping that would happen, but not quite. All right, we're going to start off first with the energy of health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. All right. I'm sorry, not that. That. And then once I'm done with health, I'll see where the pole is to make a decision, because this is always what it is. Okay, so it feels like we get this card a lot. Anunnaki light codes, energetic shift, new information, end of a cycle. We legitimately got that 8 of Cups that came through when I was looking at the 7-day forecast. Everybody has the ability to make and break a cycle. Also, we had the Death card and we had Judgment. It's just a matter of letting go. And the 4 of Pentacles was asking, are you ready to let go? When you shift your approach, when you shift your energy, everything else starts to shift too. Give yourself a chance to do some research, particularly when it comes to health. New information can also shift your outlook, which then shifts your body as well. So research, again, an optimistic approach can help, and then getting a second opinion for sure. All right, so let's look at everything in front of us and see what the general messages are for health and well-being. We already talked about the advantage of getting out into the real world, getting out into nature, and I gave you several quote-unquote hacks on how to make that work. Okay, in addition to that, there's some other things here that we can look at. There may simply be some difficulty in concentration this week. Distraction, focus, but if it's beyond that, if it's a persistent thing, talk to your doctor. There just may be stress that you're dealing with, or there could be a cognitive thing. But for most of us, it's just that the world is a stressful place right now. Stress is a reaction to external stimuli, so it is about coping skills and tools. And a lot of times you do need to talk to someone to figure out how you can create those tools. But tuning out of TV, radio, media, etc., and focusing on something that's helpful can be good. You still need to stay informed, but not 24/7. Compartmentalize where you're kind of having all of this input and output so that you're not overwhelmed. Some of you may be also dealing with some lower back issues. Great time to get a massage, go to a chiropractor, get acupuncture, or talk to the doctor. But this card can show stress in the back. As you remember with the traditional card, the person's leaning over. If you are doing any sort of moving or physical labor, make sure that you're lifting correctly. Mental health is really what I'm picking up on with the 5 of Swords, because it is that inner voice where sometimes you're feeling, I can't, I won't, I'm not good enough. It is part of the topic today, but if you need to talk to someone, for sure do that. And just patience with recovery. It takes a minute to get into a situation. It takes a minute to get out. So don't rush that. Most of the other cards are pretty good, and there's not that many other things to come through. So let's see where the pole is right now. And by a very thin line, we're going to do a short expanded. Okay, so thanks to everybody that voted. I'm going to briefly touch on all of the other categories. All right. I think short is better for today because it'll give me a chance to just look at a few more. And let me just look at our overall time as well. I want to make sure that, yeah, okay. So let's go ahead. That's all. That's the only way that I can answer a few more. So let's do that. Now we're going to move on to wealth, resources, life purpose, and career. You are on the right path, folks. We have intuition coming through, and for many of you, it's just a matter of trusting that it's time to make the move. The intuition's kind of getting drowned out by emotions in this particular illustration. So In order to be able to make a decision, you might have to take a step back or take some time off or get some rest. We had Four of Swords, which is about your sleep quality and quantity. We had the Eight of Cups, which is making sure that you get some distance from a situation. And then just resistance in general with Judgment, and then, what was it? Four of Pentacles and Death. It's happening. The change is happening. So trust that you're going to be okay. Listen to that intuition, and that's going to pay off in the long run. Just a basic read for everybody, irrespective of where you're at. Your opportunities are based on your choices. The Six of Pentacles, a series of good decisions can yield a very good outcome and can allow you to bounce back. Opportunity comes in the strangest and most unexpected places, whether you're working, looking for work, or retired. There's an opportunity that's almost like right under your nose. It just requires the ability to look around and to change the narrative in your head a little bit. Partnership is where it's at, folks, with the Four of Wands. It feels like that has been a broken record for a while, but it's who you know, not what you know. And this is a time to really build those networks around you. I think no matter what, with the combination, the 1-2 whammy of the 6 and 7 of Pentacles, the general note on money overall is to be mindful of the future, save a little more than you spend, be a little bit more conservative. We're not looking at a sort of like reductionist mind think or scarcity mind think, but we're just being smart about our expenditures. And yes, this is a month where advancement or a new job or a new opportunity can happen, but there's competition. We want to avoid this sort of negative thought process in our head and make sure that you're looking in all directions. Thinking outside of the box is also part of this. So the positive part of this is dreaming, innovating, and exploring. And there might be something that you hadn't imagined that you were good for, but your skills could be repackaged or reimagined in a way that might be better. So it's almost like you get to breathe life into a different like fork in the road if you're willing and ready to do that. Okay, and that's what I'm picking up on for a light look at wealth. Looking into love and romance. This is an interesting card. We have learning. So there are lessons coming through. I always think it's more fun when you're bringing in a partner, not a teacher, but I'll try to help you look at the lesson at hand when it comes to what's coming forth. Don't push it. The Ten of Wands can be a very pushy card. And in a relationship, it's someone who has to constantly nudge or make the decisions for someone else. You don't have to do that. Delegate, and like in a partnership, just say, I know you're going to take care of this. I need you to take care of this. And then if they do a great job, fantastic. If they don't, you can have a conversation, but you don't have to helicopter in. And then you don't have to feel the weight of like, well, if I don't, like maybe you're too hard on yourself. Give people a chance to grow and don't expect perfection at the beginning. Give them praise when they need it. Give constructive criticism when necessary. But like ultimately, it's about not feeling like you have to shoulder this burden on yourself, and you don't have to push something. And if they want something and they don't do it, just say, well, I can't always help with that, right? So that's one thought there. Let me just get a lozenge. Talking for an hour is a lot, sorry. Sometimes my throat gives out. In all levels of relationships, whether it's family, friendship, or love, give and take. And this is a month where, again, there's growth potential, but you can't always do everything. So just reiterating that. In all aspects of relationships, one of the challenges could actually be one partner is really focused on personal growth, career, or advancement, and their mind isn't solely focused on others. So whether you're in a relationship or looking for love, there's so much coming through here with respect to like growth and balance in your life. The relationship is knocking and wants to make room, but everybody this month seems a little bit distracted. So focusing on getting your priorities straight and creating space for this, because it does want to come through, would be great. It's not an either or. You can do the personal development and you can also have friendship, love, and relationship growth. But it's going to be give and take, and that's going to be the sort of gentle balance and challenge for many of you. For all relationships this month, don't fight for the sake of fighting. You don't always have to win an argument. Sometimes it's better to walk away. That's going to save you so much time. My mom is passed into spirit. I love her. But there was one time when we had a disagreement about something, and I apologized. I just said, well, I wasn't trying to make you upset, blah, 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 whatever. I went into the apology. And she said, that's fine. She said, I don't forgive you. And I was on the phone. I just rolled my eyes. I'm like, well, okay. Well, we'll talk tomorrow. You have a great day. And I let it go because she was older. I made a promise with myself that I wasn't going to have arguments more than a day. And I'm like, I did my part. And I don't want to hold on to it. And it was silly. I'm like, years later, I can talk to my friends and family members about this. And I'm like, she was amazing, but she could be stubborn sometimes. And that was one time where years later, now I just laugh. I'm like, that was silly. It's like a little kid that throws a tantrum or something. I had kind of gotten to the point where I learned, I was like, that's not a fight. There's something else going on. It isn't about me. And we're not going to agree ever on this. So life is finite. That's not worth it. That's not worth messing up a relationship over. Okay, you can hold on to that. I let it go. I just let it go. Here's the interesting thing. When you hold on to anything, even something silly, it does just eat away at you. So I wished I could have helped her release it, but I did all I needed to. So sometimes you just have to let it go, folks. It's not worth it. I'm sure you know someone in your life that has to be right on some things. Her dad, my grandfather, he taught me the lesson that I remembered on this, which is you can sometimes, as you get older, just take great satisfaction for knowing that you did what was right without hearing that you're right. And I knew in this situation it was right to just lead with love, let it go, and years later laugh about it. I hold no animosity. I just think it's an interesting character quirk, and I'm like, you're crazy, whatever. So if you can get to that point of having a sense of humor about someone's reactions, it can be very advantageous here. So going general helped here because it can be anybody in any type of love situation in your life. See if you can bring it to a place, levity, lightness, not like making fun of them, but can I laugh at the ridiculousness of this? Because if I can, then we're less likely to fight. Sometimes you fight about things and you don't remember why you're fighting. I know that I saw this also in family members, old family members that were like, I don't even remember like why they hated each other, but they did. And if you ask them, they don't remember what it was about. And the truth is they probably just loved each other and they were too similar. So if you can get to the place of humor and levity, it's going to be a lot happier and a lot better life. So let it go. Focus on something else. And I had other things to do that day too. I'm like, I got work to do. This is silly. Okay? I think that's a healthy approach to relationships. Change the focus on where the love is, where the friendship is. Focus on endeavors that can work and are worth your time and energy. And if anyone ever says they don't accept it, that's okay. Apologies, by the way. It's a good thing to think about this. Just because someone says that they're sorry to you doesn't mean you have to accept it. Just because you say it doesn't mean that they have to accept it. You're just offering some healing. And I did do it from a place of gratitude and love, but it wasn't enough, and that was all I could do. And if my best isn't enough, that's okay. I did what I needed to heal, and I cut the cord. And so I wasn't putting bad energy that way. That's all you can do. There's no pressure because that's actually not an apology if you expect. Mine was unconditional. If you expect someone to say, it's okay, I'm sorry too, or I accept it, it's not really an apology. So you're just offering it. It's an offering. And it's either accepted or rejected, but the offering in and of itself, if given from a place of love, is enough. So that'll help you not get hurt. And you can just keep the door open. A door can be open, but you can't force someone through it. So breathing, giving space, not expecting things when it comes to all levels of relationships this month. Same thing with love. I can offer my love. If it's not reciprocated, that's okay. When it comes to, it's my puppy behind me, he is. He was a rescue, and he's a very gentle soul, as you can see, always kind of quiet, always in the background, trying not to cause trouble. But it took a long time for him to open up. I just kept everything open. I'm like, I'm here when you're ready, buddy. And now he's like a little ball of love, aren't you? Yes, you are. So slow and steady when it comes to all relationships. Okay, let's move on. We're going to look at love. Finish up love here, actually. So the last thing with love, again, is just with the lesson, knowing yourself, I think, is really, really important. Okay, now destiny. You got 2 cards here. Hathor, which is reversed, and the divine director. Let's start with this. This is like emperor energy, or even like high priestess. Trust the process. Create space for divine order to unfold. You have to create space. You have to believe in it, and then you just have to kind of like let it go. If you build it, they will come. Create the opportunity. Create the space. Know that you two are the one that is sort of like the source of all of the opportunities. You're not looking to someone else. You're the source. Don't rush. So Hathor is coming through with acceleration, brilliance, and stand in your light. The reversal of this is like the star reversed. In order to be seen, you have to be authentic. You have to be a little bit unique. So be willing to be rejected. Put yourself out there a little bit. Brilliance. Again, don't hold back. The 4 of Pentacles that we saw earlier could be about holding back insights, opinions, or things of that nature. And acceleration, it's not about how quickly, it's about how well. Slow down, be yourself, and share your ideas. And that is going to bring out the solar energy that we see here in this solar deity. Okay, we saved a little bit of extra time today to look at some other things. And I'm going to open up a little Q&A area, and I'm just going to say, as I look at my own questions, what are you feeling, I guess, blocked by with respect to self-worth? Okay? And keep these general, and if there's something that just kind of feels like a general block, I'll look at it. But I'm going to do my own sort of big idea message here. And then if I have a couple of moments, I'm probably only going to take 2 or 3, but I'll look at some of the common threads that are coming through. So for the big idea, a couple of things. What is it that Spirit wants to show with respect to your own self-worth? It could be a block, it could be a positive, but what do you need to see with respect to self-worth? Okay. For many of you, there is this challenge, like we talked about the 5 of Wands. We have a different vision or version of it here. Some of you are trying to meet up to peers, family, and society. And it feels sometimes like it's too much work to fit into that. It's okay not to fit in. It's okay to kind of do something completely different. It shouldn't feel like it's work when you're working, quote unquote, on the self-worth. Really just looking at yourself and thinking, I'm worth whatever effort I want to put into this, but I'm also enough. You need to feel that you're enough for yourself before you can find a partner, before you can find a supercharged, amazing job, before you can get the recognition that you're seeking. You have to be enough for you. And it shouldn't feel like it's a lot of work to get to that point. It's something that you can fake it until you make it. Every day, if you keep repeating, I am worthy, I'm enough. That's it. Like, that's your mantra. Keep it short. I'm worthy and I'm enough. You can add, I'm worthy and I'm enough for myself or for others. Once you believe that, you can add to it, I'm more than enough. Getting you into the 6 and 7 of Pentacles. But I'd like to at least just get you into an ace where you feel like you're worth it. I'm worth it. I'm worthy. I'm enough. If you can get there this week, great. Then you can take it to you're more than enough. It doesn't have to be a lot of work. Simple lift like that will help you get past this. And if you have to push to have people see your worth, maybe they're not worth it. Okay, second thing that I want to look at is what's the opportunity that's presenting itself this month? I'm not surprised that we keep getting fives because all the fives, for the most part, Five of Wands, Five of Cups, Five of Swords, Five of Pentacles, anyway, they all show struggle. So with this one, this is the quintessential self-worth card. So what I like about this one is she's creating her own light. She could go into that shelter, though. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't fix your focus on one setback or one person's criticism. There will always be someone who doesn't like you. There will always be someone for whom you're not good enough. And there will always be something that's just not open for you. But there's always going to be someone that does see your worth. There invariably always is a door that is opening up. And what we want to focus on is those openings. So let go of the teacher, the parent, the sibling, the peer that said something nasty. Let go of this feeling that I failed. Whatever you think you failed on, it was in the past, it is in the past. And now you're going to focus instead on, I am enough. I'm going to reach out and find people, places, and opportunities that see that worth. I'm going to focus on my health too, my health and general well-being. Okay, let me take a look at chat and see what's going on here. All right, so how to overcome fear is one. Lack of career opportunities is another. Not being enough when I should be the best. Having to reassure myself that I'm not enough. Okay. I think that the fear of being seen is really good because it connects with the star energy, which we saw. So I'm just going to pick the ones that kind of jump out. I did open a Q&A tab, but I'll also look at general chat because I see there's a combination of both. So I'm looking first at the Q&A. So let's take one from that, which was the fear of being seen. And I think that really nicely fits into self-esteem because when people see you, there's this fear of judgment. So let's see what this is about. One step at a time. So this page of swords is kind of stepping up on the mountaintop. And we're getting speech and communication as being a part of this. So I used to work with somebody who had issues with being in front of groups. Now he actually is a professional motivational speaker, which is amazing. But he did that by joining a club that specifically focuses on helping people with public speaking. And he did it connected to the company that we used to work at, and then he created his own sort of public speaking thing. And I really admire him for that, but it was one step at a time to get to the point now that I think he even gave a TED Talk or something. So like, it's amazing what's possible, but it started with just going to a club that met after work and working on it and getting through sweaty palms and stuttering and all of that to the point that now he can do a TED Talk. So one step at a time. And talking to other people can help, and reading up on things can help. But the Page of Swords is one step away from the Knight, which is where my friend is at, where things are happening quickly. But it's education, it's practice, it's putting things to practice. And I think that's kind of part of this, one step at a time, not necessarily jumping headfirst into a deep pool and hoping that everything's going to go okay. You're just dipping your foot into this idea of, okay, well, what if I'm a little more visible here, a little bit more outspoken on this? What if it's practice makes perfect. Just like a spiritual practice, just like language, just like mathematics, we have to start from the core skills first, okay? And also working on that, I think I can do it. I can do it changing it one thought at a time. All right, I'm going to kind of oscillate between the main chat and that sort of tab here. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay. Constant judgment. We talked about the judgment. I think one of the things this month is to remember what I said. Go back and listen to the whole idea of you're the only one that judges yourself. So don't worry what other people think, because at the end of your lifespan and their lifespans, they're only focusing on their path and you're focusing on yours. Yes, you see how you affected everyone else, but you're judging you. So in this life, be kind to yourself. Okay. Self-criticism and okay, I like the imposter syndrome piece that came through too. And I'm probably just going to end the extra tab because many people aren't using that. So let me end the Q&A because most people are just putting it in the main chat. Okay, so imposter syndrome. How can you stop thinking I'm not good enough? I mean, I kind of talked about it with questions, but let's see if there's something else energetically that you can focus on. And then I'm going to do one more, and we're done for today just because I want to keep it at time. But I think this week I'll do a members video. I didn't have time this past week, but I will do it this week. So we can continue some of this Q&A discussion during the members. Okay. This is super powerful. So if you can't or won't see it, you have closed a door before it has a chance to open. Let me restate. If you're afraid of failure and don't try, and again, I don't believe in failure, but the opportunity already isn't going to happen. So it's a surefire way to make sure that you can accomplish a goal. I don't use the word failure, but the success is harder that way. Whereas if you think to yourself, I believe in myself enough to try this, the worst that can happen is I figure out that I have more work to do, or that wasn't the best thing to try, but at least I'll never regret what would have happened. It's always better to try than not to try. By not trying, you don't have to even worry about imposter syndrome. You're making it not happen. So you owe it to yourself to try. Who cares if you succeed this time? What about next time? It's like the Aaliyah song from late 90s or early 2000s. Try again. Just like dust yourself off and try again. Because the first impression, the first try, the first step may not be perfect, but what about the next time? That's literally like one of the lyrics on that. That's a fun song by Aaliyah, rest in peace. So give yourself a second chance, keep trying. You build it up in your head to be more than it needs to be, okay? It's okay to wonder if it's going to be all right, but by not trying, you've already failed. And I don't believe in failure, but you're kind of like shutting a door before it can open. All right, let me see what else is going on here. I think that's about it. All right, so I'm just going to pull one more, which is what you need to know. So this is something new that I'm kind of doing. So anything that needs to come through right now, we'll look at that. We'll very quickly meditate and then do a final card. So what you need to know, you're very close to accomplishing something, 9 of Wands, but take a break, get perspective like we talked about. One thing that I'm seeing for some of you is you're holding on to a lot of pressure here. It could literally be like a pressure headache. It could also just be too much pressure that you're putting on yourself. All that being said, this card is perseverance and resilience personified. So if you set your mind to it this week, you can really make it happen, okay? Very, very quickly. And today we'll see. I may not call out everybody who gave back just because we're a little over time, but it's okay. We'll see. Let's meditate. Close your eyes, please. Imagine yourself. I want to find a really good place to be. Let's imagine we're at the beach. Imagine that you are like the temperance angel. You have one foot on the beach itself and one foot dipping into the water. So whatever it is that you want to do next in your life, test the waters. Feel that as you place your foot into the water, you get this rush of possibility. And it's also kind of the foot on the ground is saying, I got myself. I can do this. I can take this next step into the unknown. Let go of the fear. Let go of all the what ifs, and just allow the gentle energy of the water to start to move from that toe that is in the water all the way through your root chakra, your solar plexus, your throat, all the way up to the seventh chakra in your body, your crown. And imagine just like a lily, it's starting to open up, and it's almost like you're the Ace of Cups, basically. You're pulling the water from the bottom all the way through the top, and you're overflowing with inspiration, a feeling of fluidity, like anything's possible. I'm in the flow of possibility. Open up your heart, especially during this moment, to receive. Okay? Bring both of your feet back on solid ground. Take a deep breath. See that Ace of Cups overprinted over your entire body, and know that this week ahead is going to bring in some new opportunities. Gently open your eyes. Think about one last question. I'll pull one last card, and then we're done for today. All right. I keep it real. The devil tells me for yes, no, it's a no. It's a hard pass. Now, the devil typically represents something where you're not getting what you need, much like the Four of Pentacles, but a little bit more amplified. You can't change a person. You can't change their mind if they're in this state. And there may be a contract in front of you that's not enough, or may have with it some constraints that are not good for you. There's something that needs to be analyzed. It's not even. It's not good enough yet. Pause and it's not about reimagining. It's like reassess it. Like there's something more to the situation. You have to dig deeper and look around. Okay? Don't limit yourself. This can just be limiting thoughts. So when it comes to like self-confidence and things of that nature, you have to be your own best advocate here. Okay? Thank you everybody for showing up. Again, if anybody joined late, it's going to be available immediately afterwards on replay. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow me on social media so you never miss out on future readings. You can also go to my website, and usually a day or so after, all the links are posted there as well. Okay? Thanks in advance to everybody that gave back. I'm going to take a couple of moments here to express some gratitude in real time. Thanks to Dakota today, who was fantastic at connecting with all of you. We have a new thing called a leaderboard. So I guess, Dakota, I'm happy you're number one. Obviously, you were doing your work here today and connecting with everyone. We have adventures. I can't read the rest of it, Adventures Within or something. Number 2, and Annabelle. So that's a cool new thing. Welcome to everybody that's been participating today. Speaking of recognition and leaderboards, let's look at fan funding. All right, here we go. So I'm just going to kind of do them all at once and hope that I've grabbed all of them. Leslie, thank you for the €10. I appreciate that. My Tree Face, welcome to membership. It's good to have you here. Same thing with Bun. Kristen, thank you for 10 months of being a member here. And good morning to you as well. Thank you also for gifting and sharing that membership with someone else. Daniela, 45 months. Look at that crown with all the points. Thank you for being a member for too many months for me to calculate how many years that is, but a long time. Thank you. I appreciate your presence here, and right back at you with all the hearts. Teresa, thank you for gifting the sticker here. I appreciate that. I'm glad, Heather, that you enjoyed today. Thank you for the sticker as well. Lilia, thank you also for giving back, and I'm glad that the messages resonated and you gave back twice. You're a rock star. Thank you very much. Colette, thank you for gifting 5 memberships today. Raven, $9.99. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. Same thing with you, Heather. And I gifted some memberships, so welcome to everybody new that joined. Much love and light. Lisa, thank you for the $2. Bernadette, you're amazing. Thank you for the 100 there. That really goes a long way. Much appreciated. Let's see. Creek, I'm just going to say Creek. Thank you so much for being a member and welcome. Judith, you just hit the 2-year mark. Congratulations. Let's see. Lady Lux, thank you for the $10 there. I do appreciate it. You're looking for a job, you said. You're seeking some guidance. I know it's a tough market out there, but one thing that we did see today in the reading was with that Wheel of Fortune, a pivot. Remember to look in all directions. And I do think you might be able to find something by looking in slightly to the right or to the left of what you normally would. So hopefully that helps. Bloom, thank you for the €20. I appreciate that. And welcome to be a channel member as well. Very cool. I'm not sure if it's Bloom or whatever, but thank you. I appreciate it. Popcorn, thank you for the 20. I appreciate that as well. We have Yolanda Van Groff. Thank you for your contribution. And Heather for sharing the love and gifting a membership. I also see Handy there with a sticker as well. Let me quickly look at any of the newest members that were gifted. Make sure that if there's a chance for me to welcome them, I will. But I know Dakota probably did. I'm trying to be more smart about the time here. So let's see. So there's a whole bunch here. Triona, Shadows, Arshia, Bloom, Carol, Tracy, My Tree Face, Jesse, Kathy, Christy, Bun. Let's see if there's anybody else. It's kind of hard because it refreshes. Paula, Monica, and Teresa and Asterisk. I think I got everybody. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the slight change at the end. Good to see you. Again, for those of you celebrating Happy Pride, let's give Apollo a little pat on the back, and we'll call it a day for today. Hey, buddy. Thanks for the love. And to all of you, thanks for the love as well. Have a great week ahead, and I'll see you again. Same time, same place. Actually, 9:30. I should say the regular time at the same place. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.